Our next speaker in this session is Mr. Vishal Kapoor. He is Managing Director, Meho-HCP Air Systems Private Limited, Chair ISHRI Technical Committee, as well as Membership Chair, IAQ India Chapter. Coming with mechanical engineering background from IIT, Mr. Vishal is MBA from FMS Delhi. He is professionally engaged with the HVAC industry for around 3 decades. Today, Mr. Vishal will walk us through improvement of IAQ in existing installations. So delegates, let's welcome Mr. Vishal.
Thank you, Krishna, again. And it's been interesting presentations from the 4 speakers before me. And I think a lot of what I was planning to talk has already been covered, so I'm lucky. I'll have to speak less. Or maybe the delegates are lucky that I'll have to speak less. I don't have a presentation. I'm just going to be talking off the cuff as to what comes to mind, specifically based on how the whole discussion has panned out today. A lot of presentations that work we do technically, a lot of us in our own fields or as societies, the technical societies, ISHRI, IAQA, etc. A big chunk of that, rightly or maybe a little unfortunately, tends to look at the larger offices, tends to look at offices which have, as what we call ducted recirculation air handling units, which are relatively easier to handle when you're doing a retrofit to improve air quality. Now, we talked about what do we primarily do to improve air quality, is that we need to ensure that outdoor air is coming into your premises. You're ventilating your space by bringing in outdoor air. Now, outdoor air is obviously, in our country, most places hot, humid, or both. If you bring in that air, it's going to compromise your air conditioning or your comfort levels inside. And that is one of the reasons why people switch off air conditioning, switch off outdoor air dampers or fans, or it's going to cause impact on your energy bills. And so a lot of hotels, which are 24/7 operations, you'll see that many of them switch off the outdoor air for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, just to save the energy costs. But it's still relatively easier to handle in these large ducted air handling units because these AHUs normally have deeper coils. So they're able to handle and treat the air coming in from outside. But when you go in for smaller systems, typical offices where you have cassettes or high-wall ACs, or in residential applications where you're spending 6 to 8 hours, maybe even more, parked indoors, and during the lockdown times, you're spending much more at houses. What do we do over there? Now, I really cannot bring in outdoor air in that chunk because my machine in my bedroom in a high-wall AC will not be able to handle that outdoor air. We had covered this in our guidelines. We said that at times, some very, very simple installations is that create a path of air. Maybe keep your window open a crack. I do that. Keep a window open by a couple of inches, 3 inches, and ensure that your toilet exhaust fan is running. So you just create a path of air to move the air, and you are diluting the air in a room as often as possible. At the same time, if you have a problem and you live in a place where the outdoor air is very polluted, because you see, there's a big balance to be had between taking care of your CO2 and at the same time particulate matter. Because in most applications, if your CO2 starts coming down, that means I'm bringing in outdoor air, you will see your PM count starts going up because that outdoor air in most places is polluted and is carrying a lot of this dust and other particles. So what do? We've got to create a balance between the two things because both are dangerous for us. So if you live in an environment where the outdoor air is very polluted with smoke, pollen, or other kinds of pollutants, maybe it's time that you start looking and investing in an air purifier. Again, an air purifier, you could go on to the ISHRI website and download a book on air purifiers to learn how to buy an air purifier. It is not as simple as go on Amazon and look at whatever is available and just buy it off. No, don't do that. Buy the right product. There are technicalities to know about it. It's like when you're buying a sound system or you're buying a TV, you look at various parameters before you start investing. So look at doing that for an air purifier. So create a path of air to come in. Today, there are systems available from many manufacturers in India, across the world, which can even handle bringing in outdoor air, filtered outdoor air into smaller premises of small offices, small homes also. There are equipment available. So find a way of bringing in outdoor air into your premises. If it can come in filtered, it's actually reducing your load on the PM count. When you go into larger systems, first look at the filter that you currently have. Most, in all probabilities, the filter you have might have been called a MERV7, but won't even be a MERV3, won't even be a MERV2 possibility. It's just nothing. So upgrade that filter, which would not need much changes down the system in your capacity of the fan. You convert to a MERV7, MERV8, most units will be able to take care of MERV7, MERV8. If you want to further improve to a MERV13, it's in existing systems, it will be very difficult to just insert a MERV13 because the pressure drop across the filter and your existing system might not be able to take care of that. There are filters available like electronic air cleaners from the right manufacturers which are certified, safe, filters. You can use those at the back of the air handling unit. Those are MERV 13 equivalent filters, and they do not have a pressure drop. So your existing system can take care of that. Nevertheless, you will have to bring in outdoor air into your room to take care of ensuring the right CO2 levels or the right oxygen levels, as Ruchi covered. There are today, for areas which have more complications from pollutants point of view, there are air purification systems available, both as standalone air purifiers or as large central air purification systems, which can take care of various parameters. And I think Namita covered that in her presentation or in the earlier talk, where you can take care of any kind of a pollutant that you have in the world. Because remember, air purification has been a big industry, big application in industrial jobs, because there you need to be at times in some specific setups, need to be very careful of the quality of air that's coming in. So you can look at using those air purification devices for your central or standalone types for your office or hotel or residence or retail, etc. coming in over there. Finally, also briefly covered, I think by Ketan, is the air balance. And that is very important to ensure that outdoor air is flowing in and flowing out. So you need to understand, even in a simple thing, when I said keep your window open a crack and have the toilet fan running, it's actually creating a balance in the room that you have outside air coming into the room. So there is a negative positive pressurization that's happening and it's going out. Now that study should be done for every application across the world. Any designer, any installer, when he's doing air conditioning selection, you need to look at the air balance, the air flow, and it can be very easily checked on drawings by balancing the air, by managing the dampers or the fan speeds, and you will be able to ensure that I have been able to get the right air balance into my space. So a mixture of standalone purifiers to filtration devices mounted as part of an air handling unit to bringing in outdoor air. Preferably filtered outdoor air is always the best way. If you can treat the outdoor air by using either DX or chill water systems, even better, means not adding a load to your system. And finally, filters need to be maintained. They're not for life. They're not like human beings. They need to be maintained. They need to be checked every few days. Some filters cannot be cleaned. You cannot put a filter under water and clean it. All filters are not washable. And I keep on repeating that thing. Installing the right filter is just 10% of the job done. The balance 90% is ensuring that it is maintained, and at the date when it is no longer efficient or working, you need to throw and replace. That is very important. Balance, I think if there are any questions, we can address it over there because of paucity of time, I'll just halt over here.